Last week I spoke about the idea of work and how important work is. Ehov et hamlacha, Shmaya teaches. You should love work. And I describe that as the idea that we should love the opportunity to be productive in the world. And we should seek that opportunity, and we should find that in a whole variety of different ways at all stages of our life. The follow-up to that is that one should sna et harabbanut. One should hate the rabbanut. Now, modern day Hebrew rabbanut has to do with the rabbinate, the official rabbinate. But in this context, usually it's seen as we should hate power or the abuse of power. That's how Rabbi Kerry Olitsky describes it in his commentary on Pirkei Avot. We should hate the abuse of power, that it is improper. We should keep ourselves far away from that. But there's another explanation for which I appreciate from the Me'am Loez, and he says that you're supposed to love work and you're supposed to abhor status. You don't want to be seeking status. The climbing of the ladder of power or of position or anything like that is something that we should really avoid. Of course, we need to work to be creative, as I had mentioned. Most of us need to work because we need to earn money. But in addition to that, there is the possibility that what really motivates someone to work is that climbing of the ladder. And our tradition has a very negative attitude towards that. It wants us to find meaning in our lives that are not about status. That status is not only not worthy of our pursuit, but it's ephemeral. We know that people can rise and they can also fall. And there's also a connection to the story of Joseph that the Me'am Loez brings. He says that, he asked the question, I never really thought of it before, to be honest. Joseph, among all the brothers, he dies first. We find that out at the end of the book of Genesis. All of his brothers live beyond him. And of course, Joseph is among the youngest. He's second to youngest of the brothers. Only Benjamin is younger. Why does Joseph die first? According to this interpretation, Joseph dies first because he saw himself as elevated. Now, of course, he was elevated, but when his brothers come, and of course they don't recognize Joseph at first, they describe Jacob to Joseph as your servant, our father. Now, Joseph doesn't reveal who he is. He allows his own father to be described as his servant, as his someone of lesser status. And it's because of that, according to this interpretation, that Joseph's life is shorter than his brothers who are older than him. Regardless, whether you appreciate that interpretation or not, the idea of seeking status in order to elevate yourself is something which is unworthy in the eyes of our tradition. Instead, we are supposed to work for the creativity that comes with it, for the opportunity to support ourselves, the opportunity to make a difference out in the world, but not so that we can elevate ourselves. Better to focus on other things in our lives, more positive things, more helpful things to ourselves and to the people around us. Shabbat Shalom.